Hi, I'm Midge Shoemaker, and this is day 11 of making YouTube videos and gratitude lists. So, made it to day 11. I have no idea what that means at this point in time, but I'm grateful I made it to day 11 and grateful that I'm still getting out of bed and doing things. Um, I'm also still waiting for this to become easy, and it isn't. So, hoy. I'm just sorry, trying to make myself breathe. I've been running around doing dishes, which is a good thing. I haven't done dishes in a couple of weeks, so which is a bad thing, but I did dishes today, so that's a good thing. But it's kind of a sad thing that I'm winded because I was doing dishes, because that just shows how out of shape I am, and I really need to start exercising, which is another thing that keeps playing in the back of my mind. Time to start exercising, which of course I avoid like everything else in my life and put it off like forever. And I was thinking while I was doing the dishes that I'm like, as much as I am hoping for some magical all better at the end of 100 days sort of a thing, or making all these great fabulous habits, I was reminded once again that this is a daily process that will have to occur probably every single day of my life. Not that I have to make a YouTube video every single day for the rest of my life. I'm sure not everybody wants to see me on a YouTube video every day for the rest of my life. Might be scary when I get older. I don't know. No idea. But it just kind of reminds me that as I look back over my past, that I've had times in my life where I exercised every day, I was eating healthy, I was going to church, I was going to the temple, I was working in the temple, I was reading my scriptures and meditationals, I was journaling every night, going to counseling. I was happy. Life was great. And then life happened like it always does. My grandmother passed away, and that was in 2009. So I mean that was 11 years ago, but at that point in my life I was doing really well and thinking about going back to school for a master's degree, and then I kind of got depressed. All of that grief and everything popped up, and like I mentioned yesterday, I didn't learn how to deal with emotions, so I buried them, and they're heavy. They can be really heavy. Like grief can be heavy in mourning, and it's a time to slow down. It's a time to reevaluate, to process, to remember the people that you love. And so I, stopped exercising, I stopped eating, I started gaining weight. Then I decided I didn't like what I was doing with my life, so I needed a change. So I got a different job, did a whole bunch of other things, eventually got back into where I was exercising and doing positive things again. And then I got married. And no, getting married didn't make me stop. Well, I stopped doing everything when I got married, but although that's not coming out right in my brain, I didn't stop doing everything because I got divorced, which I did. I stopped doing everything when I got married because then I lived with someone else, and then I had, kids and all of that stuff going on. And so it was difficult for me to maintain my habits and to remember to take care of myself, because I've always put other people first. And so I'm like, great, now I get to go and take care of all these other people. So all of the stuff I was doing for me, the exercising, the reading scriptures, the journaling, all of those things just went out the window. And then, of course, I wasn't taking care of myself when the divorce happened, and then I just fell apart even more. So it's been a struggle to get myself back into positive habits because life happens. So the trick, I think, is to be able to maintain all of these positive things, these little things, during times of crisis, because it's what helps pull you through, and it helps to face the emotions and process them, which I hate doing. I hate facing my emotions. I hate crying. I hate being vulnerable. Those are things I don't like doing. I don't feel comfortable doing. I feel like there's something wrong with me because I'm crying. And I remember one time I had a really bad headache and I was throwing up, and I get really bad migraines where I start throwing up. It's horrible. But anyway, I went to my mom's house, my adopted mom's house, and I remember her telling me that it's okay to throw up, like get all of that icky stuff out of there that's upsetting your tummy. And I was like, it struck me. I was like, nobody had ever told me that it was okay to like be sick, to just throw things up if your stomach doesn't agree with you. I'm like, oh, I always just thought it was gross. It was bad. It was better to try to swallow it, which you can't really control it, but try it anyway. And I was like, it was okay to be sick. It was okay to like throw up. It was like this brand new concept to me. Like, it's okay. to have, normal things happen in my life, normal bodily functions. It's okay to be sick. It's, and when I was growing up, getting attention, the only way I got attention was being sick. And mostly all that did was keep me from having to go to school, take a whole bunch of medicine so my body didn't know how to fight off infections by itself. And, then I got to stay home and be myself. So that was that was the benefit of being sick, but not throwing up, because throwing up was uncomfortable and gross and occupied the bathroom, and we had all of one bathroom, so that wasn't okay either. So, yeah, it's just one of those things, like learning that it was okay, and learning that it's okay to cry, and that it's actually good to cry. It helps your body to heal, to process, to release things, and to even learn that there's different types of tears, that, when you're angry tears, when you're sad tears, when you're happy tears, and they all create different hormones or interactions, chemical interactions in your body that are actually good for you, that are healthy for you. And I don't know all of that. I just heard other people tell me, but I'm like, I know there's stuff you can read about all of that, but it's kind of amazing for me to learn that and to realize that I have to be vulnerable. And the only way to come out of what I've been dealing with and all of my depression and everything is to face my emotions. The only way to see the value in myself, to feel like I'm good enough to do stuff, is to process all of the things that I was thinking, to figure out like the crazy thoughts in the back of my head that said I wasn't good enough. And I'm like, well, where did I come up with that dumb idea? I guess it's not true. But these are lies that I've told myself, or these are reasons why I've just held myself back from doing things, because I believed other people, or if I wasn't getting attention or whatever I thought that I needed or felt like I needed from, my parents or family of origin, then I felt like I wasn't worth it. I didn't deserve it, or, it wasn't meant for me. It was meant for somebody else. And I've carried that attitude with me, I think, for the rest of my life, most my adult life to this point. So it's difficult to change that thought process. It's difficult to say I can do something different. And as much as I would love to wake up in the morning and say, yay, this is day 11 and I get to make a gratitude list and I get to make a YouTube video, I honestly have that other stubborn part of me, or that old habit part of me that's like, oh, great, I have to get out of bed. I have to do this to-do list. I have to make a video. I don't want to do this. So change isn't easy. I I like my smile. That's one thing I like about myself. I keep seeing myself smile. I smile when I'm nervous. I smile when I'm happy. And sadly, I smile when people tell me to. It's one of those things my mom used to tease me about. She would say blush, and I would blush, or I would smile. And I was like, I couldn't help it. I just naturally do that, which I think is kind of a cool thing. It's a good thing. Like, my face just says, hey, we need to smile. And somehow smiling, I think, helps me to feel just a little bit better. It's kind of like, oh, I'm smiling. I guess maybe I'm happy, or maybe I can be happy. So it's changing my thought processes. It's realizing that I can be happy, that I can be grateful for everything. And it's also learning that I can do things in spite of how I feel. I don't have to give in to my emotions. I don't have to give in to feeling depressed or discouraged. I don't have to give in to being tired. I'm like, yes, eventually I'm tired. I'm going to have to sleep, but I don't have to. If I wake up and I still feel tired, it doesn't mean I have to go back to bed, because most of the time I go back to bed and I don't end up sleeping. And so then I'm like, I'm just wasting my time laying in bed because I'm too tired. And a lot of times when I feel like I'm too tired, I just need to get something to eat. I need something to drink, and I get up and moving around. And the next thing you know, I'm like, oh, I totally forgot that I was tired. I guess I just needed to move. So I'm learning new things about myself. And as I was writing, after I read my scriptures and meditationals today, it occurred to me that as I'm cleaning my inner vessel, I need to clean my outer vessel. So as I'm taking care of myself internally, I need to start taking care of myself externally, which is why I did dishes today and took out my trash, because I don't really like the mess in my house. I don't really like that I've been living here for 4 or 5 months and haven't unpacked anything. So I'm going to have to start unpacking and organizing and getting comfortable with myself on the inside as well as on the outside, because I think if I have a comfortable environment and I feel safe where I'm at, that I'm more inclined to open up and deal with my emotions and let myself be vulnerable. And I kind of had to get myself healthy enough and positive enough to even get to the point where I was willing to do any of those other things. And obviously I'm not going to do all those things at once, because I've tried that and it just spent an entire day doing everything and then exhausted and then frustrated because it didn't all get done, and then feeling like a complete failure because I didn't finish everything, which doesn't actually make sense now that I say that out loud, because if I spend an entire day doing a bunch of stuff, I probably made a lot of progress. But once again, all I focus on is what I haven't finished. So today I'm trying to focus on what I have finished and what I am grateful for. And I'm grateful for a lot of things. Like, I ordered some more vitamins because mine were running low, and I'm grateful they came in the mail today. And I'm like, I ran out yesterday and I needed some new ones today, and there they were. I was like, yay! That was like perfect timing I can't control. So I think that's just God blessing me in my life with the things that I need. And grateful that I can say a prayer and feel the motivation I need to start working and doing things, that I don't have to give up. Grateful that I can still make these videos and find things to be grateful for. And grateful that I can let myself be a little bit vulnerable and share how I'm feeling and what I'm struggling with in my attempts to be grateful and work on my book. And, I'm grateful I spent 6 hours the other day writing my book, and I'm grateful that I'm learning that I'm not like other people, because I Googled it for some random reason, like how often writers write or how many words have to be in a book or pages. Because I'm like, when I was growing up, books were long. They were 200 or 300 pages, and they were like 20 to 50 chapters long. I mean, they were books. And now they write what they call novellas, and they may be 20 chapters long, but they're like 4 pages. So they're little itty bitties. They're not like 10-page chapters like I remember growing up. And like older books that are much longer and more detailed. So the writing style, what people read today is different, and people are more inclined to read a book that's 120 to 200 pages than one that's like 300 pages. So, page number doesn't really matter to me. The number of words that I put in a book, I'm like, I don't even understand why the number of words or what the word count has to do with anything when it comes to a book. And I have no idea how many words per day that I write, but I was looking it up, and, there's some people, 1,000 to 3,000 words a day. Some people claim they write way more than that. I have no idea. And then they're saying people write an average of 2 to 3 hours a day. And I'm like, wow, if I wrote 2 to 3 hours a day, that's about how long it takes me to write a chapter. I'd write a chapter a day, man, I'd have a book done in a month. Every month I'd have a new book. I don't write that much. But I also know that I sat down when I started this book with Lenoya. I wrote the first 5 chapters in one day. It took me 10 hours, but I did it. So when I did 3 chapters for 6 hours, it was like, yay, I did it. But then I think maybe that's part of my problem is I do this, like, I just write forever. Like, I can write more than 2 or 3 hours. That is so not a problem for me. I probably spend an hour and a half to 2 hours every night I write in my journal. It's just what I do. So this is just more writing on top of it. So I like writing, and I have the ideas that flow in my head like all day long. So if I could afford to stay home and write all day long, I probably would. Well, actually, I probably wouldn't. I probably should. I could. But I've stayed home many a days, and I just haven't, because I still have those emotional barriers or blocks of fear of succeeding and getting things wrong, like, oh, I finally finished and it wasn't good enough or something. So I need to overcome those fears of it not being good enough and whatever block that I have to finishing, because I'm so close to finishing and I want to finish. So I keep making that on my to-do list of things to do, is to write my book. And that's one of the things that I don't do every single day, but I'm grateful for the days that I do it. I'm grateful I keep putting it on my list, and I'm grateful that I keep thinking about it and praying for ways to overcome that. And I found that I can pray to have God remove whatever it is that's blocking me from doing the things I need to do. And then I get to learn new lessons that I don't want to learn. So it's just, I get new realizations about myself, or reasons that I'm afraid of why I'm doing things, or too busy, or worried about other people, like putting other people first, and learning that I matter, that my life matters, that I have value. It's building my own self-esteem. So it's like, oh, I have to work on myself to feel good enough to work on my book, which isn't what I thought or how I wanted to do that. But I'm learning that that's how it has to work for me. And I'm sure everybody else's writer's block or problems is different, because I don't know if I can call it writer's block, because when I sit down, it's like I know my story and I can start writing something. It's just when I have to be in the mood for it. I have to feel good about it. I have to be like, this is what I want to do. And if I don't feel it, I don't do it. So that's another one of those things. I'm like, okay, it's kind of a contradiction of terms. I don't mean to contradict myself here, but there's some things I have to feel good about doing in order to do, like working on my book or making these videos. There's some things, I just do in spite of how I feel. Like I can work through the depression or tired by getting up and doing things and being like, okay, I did this, I accomplished this. This is, there's kind of that self-will to push through certain things. And then there's other things you just have to wait for the timing to be right in order to get the inspiration, in order to feel comfortable and confident enough to do it. So it's the process of learning my feelings and which ones to act on, which ones to feel, process, and let go of, like when I'm angry and want to explode at people, and realizing that it's not them that I'm angry at, or maybe I'm a little bit angry at them, but I'm overreacting and it's due to the buildup of other emotions for other incidences. And it might be multiple instances, it might just be one past instance, just depending on what it is or was. So a lot of learning, a lot of processing, a lot of listening to myself and figuring out how I'm feeling. And I'm grateful I'm learning how to do this. It just means that I have to learn how to be vulnerable with myself. I have to get to know myself. And in the process, I'm being vulnerable and sharing who I am with everybody that chooses to watch these videos. So I hope that's helpful to people that are watching this. I know it's very scary, but I feel like I'm getting more confident in myself, and that I believe that, sharing who I am is okay and being who I am is okay. So, not that I really want a whole bunch of negative comments for my vulnerability. I don't know if I can handle that quite now, but I'm hoping that it will help me to be more open and receptive to people that are loving and giving me positive compliments, to be like, oh yes, I do deserve that. Oh yes, I am doing good. Thank you for reminding me. Thank you for validating me. Thank you for helping me to see the progress that I'm making. And hopefully I get more of those versus, okay, you're just crazy and you're putting yourself out here and you look like an idiot and it's ridiculous. You're my entertainment for the day. Well, yay, I get to be somebody's entertainment. I hope that makes your day. And hopefully I can just be grateful for that too. So I'm still working. I'm a work in progress, and I probably will be for the rest of my life. I don't know if I'll do YouTube videos for the rest of my life, but I am planning on doing it for 100 days straight, which if today is 11, I have 89 to go. So I am just grateful for that. And thank you all for listening, watching. If you please like, subscribe, share with anyone you think this might have value for, even if it's for entertainment purposes. Have a great day. Thanks.